Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. If you're online, can you put your cameras on, please? Do they have to?
In order
Okay.
to be
To be,
considered present,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, to be considered present. So like Mickey is not officially on, so you don't have to. Okay. Who else do we have? I can't read.
I think it's the three of you that's the quorum.
We're the quorum. Okay, well, usually,
Martine is.
huh? Okay.
But she doesn't have to be here, yeah.
What about Linda? What about Clyde's usually online? So no Clyde? Okay. 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 Well, at 4:32 p.m., I call this meeting of the Annual Reports Committee, Arts and Cultural Commission to order. First business item is a voting item to vote on the past minutes.
We approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay. Motion carries and passes. Thank you.
Call it.
Unanimous. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Unanimous.
Okay, great. Okay, first item on the agenda is our briefings, and I think that will be done by Glenn.
Yeah. Right. I'm just talking to y'all, but let's do that. Okay. Okay, great. All right. Our first look is timeline. Oh, hi, Commissioner Blaze. How are you?
Hey, Linda.
Fine, thank you. Thank you for unmuting me.
Oh.
Oh, what is that? Oh,
Oh.
I thought it was Commissioner Blaze. Just a moment.
I did too.
Hey, Linda, how are you doing?
It's Linda Pennell.
All right. Can you go to the timeline slide, please? One more. Okay, great. Oh, that TD is bad up there. Okay, great.
Mm.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through all of our steps to get this annual report approved, drafted, approved, including our engagement, our review, different review periods with you as a committee, different review periods for full commission, right? And time to get feedback, and what all of that sort of back and forth looks like. I'm going to try to not rush through this so we all have an understanding, but everything that you see on this table that's italicized is more of like a communication based date, right? Like, oh, this is the date that we're sending something out. Oh, this is the date that feedback is due, right? Then we have our bold dates with like bold text is a meeting, whether if it's an annual report meeting or a commission meeting. So today is our September annual report meeting. We're going to be talking about our timeline and content overview and discuss our committee recommended goals for commission to review, right? Then at the beginning of October, we will have completed a first draft of content for the committee to review, including those ACAC goals, right? So we'll have hopefully a much more robust document for review, and that's to you as a committee to prep for our October committee meeting, where we will then review, discuss, take notes, and continue our process forward as usual. Then, and make whatever edits those are, because then in October, we're going to include the ACAC goals as, and I believe this is, Chair Small, this is part of our discussion that we've had in the past already, so please forgive me if I've overstepped, but I believe in October, for commission meeting, we will be including those goals as an agenda item for discussion. Just the goals, not the full annual report.
Yes.
Great. Then with those notes and such, the annual report draft with goals goes to the full commission for review via email at the beginning of November. Then we will, as a committee, look at a second draft, which is going to be the design draft. So we're sort of doing like two things at once, right? Overlay, getting some feedback from commission over content while we are starting to look at the design, the actual final document. So we'll look at that in November. Then we have our November ACAC meeting, which is the annual report content and goals as an agenda item. So we will look at all of that, present all of that, and have that discussion. December 10, we will have our December meeting for the committee, which will be the final review of the annual report draft, design draft, that is. And then design draft a little bit later, December 15, will go to commission for review and feedback via email. That feedback will be due just after the first of the year. And then we will have our committee meeting on January 7 for that final recommendation, right? And sometimes part of that final recommendation is, you know, we move to recommend pending X, Y, and Z changes if we find those few little things in between. We will send your recommended report again to commission for any sort of final feedback, or just so they have that document to review for January's commission meeting to approve the final report itself. And then of course we submit it by February 1 with the goal. But February 1 is, I think, a Saturday. So we'll be submitting it by a 30th or Sunday, something like that. It's the weekend. So we'll do that.
Okay.
That's good.
So this question goes out to you, Glenn, as well. I don't know if everybody can hear me. Let me make sure I'm turned on. But as well as Martine, if she's on here, but are the limitations and the guidelines, all of the equity considerations, obviously that's going to impact the content of the annual report. So do we have any guidelines or instructions as to how we're going to limit some of our content in that regard?
So when it comes to the annual report specifically, not yet.
Okay.
Right now, we've been having conversations for our programs and policy to get those tidied up and wrapped up so we can continue moving forward as far as our operation goes. But I've been talking with Adriana to get some time scheduled to discuss this annual report specifically and what that looks like. And I spoke to Chair Bedell about this as well, because some of the content that we're going to review in a minute has some of that. So as opposed to us trying to figure out what it's going to say, I'll just be more so calling it out, being like, here's going to be one of those sections that we're going to be looking at for review, for compliance, for revision, things like that.
I guess my only concern is I would hope that we would receive that instruction prior to the committee having the obligation to make the report to the full commission.
Oh, yes.
Okay, then that's all, as long as that's, yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the time this gets to full commission, we will all be as informed as possible
Oh,
on
okay.
that. Yes.
Okay.
And one of the areas Glenn and I talked about earlier is making sure the language is just going to be consistent in this report for here on out. So we'll have that template. We're not going to worry about, well, the first half of the year, we didn't have to do it. And second half of the year, so we're just going to go ahead and do a clean slate, make the language consistent across the board.
Okay.
And not have to go back and forth. So we made that decision earlier.
I think that'll help just with our overall, the sort of language and conversation as we move forward anyway, and having that shared language together.
Glenn, I do have a question. So we're sending this last year we sent this over the Christmas break, didn't we? The holiday break.
Yes,
And we're not doing that this year.
we are. We
We
do
are?
do that again.
Okay.
So we will, December 15th.
The 15th, is that we're sending? Okay.
Yeah, the full design draft for ACAC, to ACAC for review and feedback via email. And that feedback will be due after the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So they'll have a few weeks to review that material. I know it's not the most ideal time of year.
Sure, but it's how it falls.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you got good response last year overall?
Yeah,
Anything?
I think we got minimal response pretty much last year.
Zero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It was 0, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 0. I think everyone was just excited that it looked different.
Yeah, it looked great.
Sure, it did
Yeah.
look great.
I think we got, I think we had, a few grammatical things pop up here and there, which is bound to happen again, but overall, no substantive feedback, I think.
Great,
No critique.
Yes, great way to put that.
very good. Okay, thank you.
All right. Shall we move on?
please.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we're going to shift to, and I think Adriana is going to try to change the screen to kind of walk us through the beginning of our content review. So what we've done, this isn't at like crazy fleshed out. This is basically taking a lot of the evergreen content from last year and putting it back in this year. We're looking at, now that we've discussed that outline from last month, now we're looking at it in a more concrete way with, here's this table, here's this map. So as we walk through this and you're getting thoughts and ideas of like, oh, let's include this to this table, or, oh, I'd like to see a map of this as well, right? Because sometimes it's a typology map. Sometimes we could look at, breaking it down and having a district map in there as well. This is the time where we can start placing this throughout the document.
Yeah.
And y'all's is front and back.
Yes.
We're saving trees.
I just put it in my front for notes. That's why there's a lot of like empty space in here, is because this has sort of been drafted as if it were the booklet of a report, right? So we have our cover page, of course, our table of contents, which will just continue to be updated. So we won't focus on that until the very, very end of everything. So on the third, and I need to include page numbers, so that's on me. But when we get to the About the Office of Arts and Culture, here is where we start seeing, so Adriana went through here and sort of started highlighting words that when we're talking about DEI and federal compliance, basically letting you know that this is what we've been seeing that we're going to be talking with the attorneys on for our moving forward, right? But this is mostly evergreen text with About the Office of Arts and Culture. We'll be looking at our vision and mission. This is part of our compliance already discussions. Moving on, our guiding principles. And so this will be something that I think will work
Right. Yes.
quite a bit. Honestly, this will probably be the one that takes the most attention. Some of this is also because we now have a new city manager whose priorities, sort of the tagline of priorities has changed from the 5 E's to the 3 C's: connect, communicate, collaborate. So I think we'll try to incorporate that in here as well. Again, sort of shifting our language and having that new shared language about providing access to, a variety of arts and culture experiences in the city of Dallas, things like that, right? Moving in that direction. And this is specifically OAC as an office, right? So as this isn't necessarily the work of the commission, because that exists under y'all's section as well.
Glenn, I do have a question. Has the city created a style book or a guidebook on language? Do you know of anything like that in progress?
Not in
Okay.
relation to, not that I'm aware of, not in relation to the federal directives and grant compliance. Mm-mm. We have like some like, what's the word that I want? Checklists to go through, but that's more of a, are we maintaining compliance through, have you asked yourself this question about this language and that, but it's not a shared language, which makes sense because every department really is involved in that in such a different way.
AP guidelines.
Yeah, well, we do, of course, the AP style book, but for compliance, I just didn't know if the attorneys have come up with anything.
Not with a specific sort of lexicon.
Hmm.
It's a good word.
It seems like that should be something
But I
that
think
should be
that's what we're waiting
created.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
yeah.
Oh, they are. Great. Adriana just mentioned that they are working on a glossary of terms. So thank you for that. I did not
Okay.
know.
Okay, that's
Great.
helpful.
Snaps for Adriana.
Okay.
Helping us out. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Moving forward, Arts and Culture Advisory Commission section. Again, very much evergreen content. This is based off of, city charter, the function of the commission. Adriana has updated the commissioners as of September 30. We'll see if we do get that nomination from District 3. But this is very standard. Whoever is in place by September 30 is what that is. And so we'll just show a vacancy if that's the case. And that list continues on. Great. Looking at Arts and Culture Advisory Commission, standing and ad hoc committee. Oh, yeah, I thought I got Okay, we did this last year, didn't we?
I
Okay.
think so.
Thank you.
Neat.
Meet or meets, do you think?
For the sake of Commissioner Blaze, what are we talking about?
So
Me too. I mean,
we are looking, and I am so sorry if I'm going much too fast.
no.
Definitely
It's
slow
just
down
that
the
we're,
pace.
looking at a piece of paper without commenting on what we're changing.
So we're looking at the page that says arts. Yes, the standing and ad hoc committee section. And so Commissioner Nugent has pointed out, instead of met regularly for the first two standing committees, we'll say meet or meets regularly, keeping it in present tense. Wonderful. Okay. And then Adriana has updated all of the committee members as of September 30 in here as well, and chairs. All right. Excuse me. Moving forward to the next page, we're on cultural services contracts. And again, a lot of evergreen information here, which seemed to flow well in the full document when we actually had all of the imagery and everything. So it might look sparse here, but when we fill that out and make sure the text is, ADA compliant in size and all of that, it really does take up quite some space. So we talk about what cultural services contracts are through funding programs division, community arts division, and then, we break down to the funding programs division. We talk about COP Arts Activate. What we will not see in here, because of how we have delayed our culture value program, it will not have happened in this fiscal year. I've removed it here because we will be running it in November instead. So we will then report out on that next year, since that will have been in November for next fiscal year. So if you feel like something's missing, it's probably what it is. Yeah. So then we get into the cultural organizations program, and here is where we start seeing our tables, our graphs, our charts, and things like that, which obviously no information yet, because we haven't finished our fiscal year and we have to do all of the calculation, the collection and calculation of all of that. But we have the description of the program. And then here, right, this is basically what we had last year, which is broken down by organization size, right? We had funding amount, percent of COP budget, number of funded organizations. Not that we need an answer now, but if any ideas come up, what else would you like to see in this table and how it's broken down? Would you like to see, where do the organizations, where their administrative offices in town, like by district, things like that, that help sort of tell that. So
I don't think so.
oh, I'm just an example. That helps sort of tell the story that we want to tell for the impact that we've made. That one doesn't, I wouldn't see why that would be as relevant. All right. I mentioned discipline as well. That might be a little hard for some organizations, but we could always say multidisciplinary, things like that. On the next page, we have COP events and attendance by district. I would imagine we still want to keep this one in. This was a big part of our conversation last year, where we really wanted to see the impact by district, which makes complete and total sense as a report by our commissioners. So,
And I think last year you guys came up with a way to do it a little bit easier.
oh my God, yeah, that's
Yes.
why we were able to do it.
Yes. Okay.
So we were able to run it through GIS and get summarized tables and maps and everything. It was great. I'm actually really excited to do it again, because it makes it so much easier. So
We love your enthusiasm.
great. So what we don't have here, again, just as an example, is a map of COP events across the city. We can see what that looks like. It might be too busy, you know what I mean? In one particular area, so we're not really, is it an effective visual representation of that information? But I know in our probably our very first meeting, when we got ramped up for this year, we were talking about where can we put more visuals, more, more sort of graphics in that. So I'm just, coming up with ideas with you, brainstorming. Okay. I'll move on. Arts Activate 2025. Same kind of thing, description of the program here. We'll look into what's highlighted in red there. Events and attendance by district. This, because of the nature of the program, right? Events and attendance by cultural typology. As a staff member, I would recommend just keep that in. I think that's a very effective way of looking at how we've made an impact through a project-based funding program. And then providing the events on a typology map, and then sort of this graph pie chart of events per type or by typology. What's not in here is a map of the same map of event locations, but on a district layout, on a district map layout, which is something we can do.
I agree with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I do. I think anything that you can do at a glance
Yeah,
that tells the stories you were saying earlier is important.
wonderful.
And the commissioners care about what's in their district.
Great. So I'll include that, and we'll just sort of keep adding before we subtract to just kind of see
Yeah.
how flow goes. Great. And then maybe percent of events by district.
Mm.
Okay. Last year, the committee requested there be a description of the 4 typologies, which I thought was a great add.
Mhm.
But what I also wanted to include this year that I've added into this text was what data points were used to build the typology map as a means of reiterating that the typology map very much aligns with the program. And when it comes to federal compliance, we are not, the map wasn't built off of things that were called out specifically in federal directives that would be non-compliant. And so I'll just be very explicit: family residential property, concentration of venues, access to arts venues.
You're breaking up.
Oh. Or am I still breaking out? No, hold on, I'll switch.
Too fast.
No. Does that be better, Commissioner Boyce?
Say something more than 3 words.
Oh, that's fair. I can talk as much as I can. So we're talking
Still breaking up.
better. Oh,
Well, it started better, but then it got worse again.
oh.
Am I the
What
only
if I
one
spoke-
that's having this problem?
Martine, are you having the problem?
Or Anna?
You're sounding fine. You sound fine. Jim.
Now it's back on, but it was also breaking out for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it better now?
So,
Even
No,
on my.
No, it's breaking out still.
Oh, weird.
Jim sounds fine. Or did.
Okay. Is that any better?
So far.
Okay, cool. So I'll speak into this one. Thank you so much. All right. So we've called out those 5 data points to create that typology map: percent of single family residential properties, concentration of cultural venues, access to dedicated arts venues, access to city funded public art, and concentration of OCA funded performances in FY 26-2017. All right. And then of course the descriptions of those 4 neighborhood typologies. All right. The Community Arts Division, so we break into that, then we talk about CAP. Same thing, notes right there. Number of events and attendance by council district, great. We have the same kind of data, event location on the cultural typology map and number of events or percent rather of events by typology. I'll go ahead and add in the two about districts, right?
Yes.
Map by district. And then percent by district. Great. Moving on to the next page, community arts pop-up cultural programming. As Adriana was moving through, so I'm going to keep referencing Adriana because she's going to be a significant asset for us building all of this, all of the numbers, the reports, the information, the data, all of this, which is incredible help. So thank you, Adriana,
Well, thank you.
Yes,
already
thank you.
and in advance. She brought up that that this section doesn't necessarily provide the same kind of narrative impact as some of our other funding programs or divisions. And so while we kind of list out some of those ongoing programs like, you know, Beautiful Communities initiatives or Murals on the Move, things like that, that we'll do a little bit more in explaining that, because right now it exists in the appendix. And so it does get somewhere in this report, but it should probably have a better spotlight in the body itself, which also lends itself to getting more photos in there from those particular events, because these are usually those larger scale, the AAPI festival, things like that would be there. All right. Moving forward, cultural venues. Again, all of that sort of evergreen text, the description of the venue itself. We have placeholders for sort of like the big wins for the year or, you know, achievements for the year that Adrian is engaging with all of our managers to get at that list. She also noticed that there were some inconsistencies in the number of items that we had in the report last year from one to another. Some had 1 bullet point, some had 4. So really working with the city managers to understand kind of like what we're trying to achieve in this report. So we have something of more substance for their achievements of the year. And so I think that'll be a great add.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to a couple more pages, we have our partner managed venues. I don't have anything else to add on that one.
Okay.
It's just the list of venues themselves.
Okay.
Public art program. And this is, now we have like a few pages of just kind of placeholder information. But based off of your feedback for this section and like kind of the bullets from that outline, this is exactly what that is. Adriana will work with Lynn and Guy and team.
Just to go back.
Yeah.
When we're looking at the cultural venues.
Yes.
Linda or Commissioner Blaze, I don't know if you can hear me. But is there a need to add any quantitative information on the venues? You know, so many people, so many events, any, you know, budgetary impact, or is it okay? Is this sufficient for an annual report, or is it necessary? Obviously, we got a list of, but is there anything else?
Well, so I guess what we could look at is instead of maybe we could have, you know, sort of the standout events or achievements through the year, but we could have also a regular standard set of information, number of attendees, number of events. So yes, we
Something
can.
that's it's already in the report, but as long as we're listing the venues, just to have them listed in an annual report without any quantitative information, I don't know if it's
So you mean
supplemental.
like Winspear Opera House, how many seats and all of that? Isn't that something, we have that someplace else, don't we?
Oh, are you talking about partner managed or our
That's-
venue?
Whatever we have, like here for cultural venues.
Okay, great.
And we list them, but then there's like, you know, there's no quantitative.
So I think that's great feedback. So what we can do is for each venue, we can have, you know, number of events in attendance. We can have, you know,
If it's readily available and not overwhelming to do.
it should be readily available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
Adriana, you had mentioned you're meeting with each one of them, correct?
Yeah.
So,
That's one of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Number of attendance.
Well, I think also significant things that they've achieved. And I think about the AAPI, and the bathhouse, the AAPI dragon boat race that they did. That was significant.
Like a highlights.
Yeah, a highlight.
Highlights
Mhm.
comment.
Yeah.
Yes, I can
Yes.
work with the venues to get like a top events that they've done
Yeah.
to build the narrative,
Yeah.
but then also some numbers as well. So we have an idea of usage and
Yeah.
what the attendance was. Because there are some like keystone events that each venue has, like the AAPI Heritage. I know Latino Cultural Center does a lot of stuff for the El Nino and for Hispanic Heritage Month. So I can try to capture not just the numbers, but some of those stories as well. So I'll be working with with our cultural venues to get that information.
That's perfect.
Because
Yeah.
the
Bravo.
overall, and I would say Glenn, or Chair, I think the overall, goal of those comments would be to brag about what each of
Yeah.
these centers are doing. So we want to brag about them in such a way that we're doing a great job.
Yeah, we don't want it just to be a fact sheet. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's got, we want people to look, they go, oh, I remember that was such a great event.
Yeah.
Or I love that. I hope we can continue to do that year after year. Yeah.
Great.
Or I'm sorry, I missed that. I hope it happens again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Great. I do love that because some of these sections from last year's report did seem a little sparse.
And
And
dry.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this will be a great
Yeah.
way to continue to flesh this out to, grow the report in a really wonderful way. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Small.
Public art program. We'll be working, that'll be the next few pages, but we'll be working with Lynn, Guy, and their team to get all of those sort of data point updates, things like that. And hers are a little bit, hers was a pretty significant and good amount of information and chunk in the report. So if you have any ideas of anything, we could include, again, thinking of visuals. Oh yeah, photos for sure. But I'm thinking of like a map of, do we have a map of the different dedicated pieces from this year? We can look at something like that. Is that something we might want to look at, or
That's
what are
awesome.
you thinking?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Let me make a note.
Did we talk about offering video as an option, a video link? Is there going to be I know this is a paper document, but online, could we do a video link to some things?
I think we talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I think-
linked. It's linked
yeah,
on, it's not on, I think it might be on our website. I'd have to ask Ashley, but
I know it's linked, but could we do a link with videos if we had some
oh,
videos that we
oh,
could, like the skate
oh.
park, like the
That's an
dancing.
easy
Okay.
electronic form.
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
We talked about it
perhaps.
Uh-huh.
last year.
Think of videos.
And
that-
maybe like just one or two.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah.
Just something.
Let me see what that
a
looks
summary.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
There are going to be some that lend itself if we have good video. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of as well, even as we've talked about in the appendix, to include promotional materials, which I think is another great add to the appendix. Even having things like that are like, hey, look at, here's some just other things that you can pull up and look at as that stuff for the body of the report and also in the appendix.
Yeah, I think that a great link would be the one where Martine was dancing with her group at City Hall.
I think that'd be a
that's
fabulous
the one that
thing.
came to mind,
That's the
actually,
video that
Martine.
we need.
Yes,
I agree.
that's the one that came to mind.
Checking to see if Susan is-
You know, I'm coming off mute to pass. Pass. I do not consent to my likeness being produced.
I can hear her rolling her eyes. as we speak.
You heard an audible eyeball roll.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Okay, moving forward to municipal radio panel review program. Adrian will be working with Julia to pull those data points as far as the impact that our panel review group has had over the past year. And then now, that's the biggest, that's the majority of it, the majority of the chunk. But now, as per usual, I'm gonna mostly bow out of this conversation about So remember the way this is structured, where the body of the report has commission goals and objectives for next fiscal year, right? And then in the appendix, it will have your current fiscal year goals. So in the order of this, the first thing we look at is next year's goals for FY 25-26. So it says placeholder. And now I just want to give the opportunity to at least begin that conversation. By no means, are we expecting anything today so we can pass it out? But, do y'all want to, what do you want to talk about in relation to this? How do you want to provide your goals and feedback to Adriana for her to start collecting and putting into a document for review? Also remembering that we can't be emailing each other because it'll break quorum, quorum rules and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna toss that back over now that we're at this part of the report.
Well, I'm going to open it up and for discussion.
Chair? Or Linda, I think Linda was about to say something.
Commissioner Blaze,
Commissioner Blaze.
you're on mute.
Well, I wasn't. I have this on my on my larger computer screen, and I've been following along with that, and I had made some notes. But I wasn't about to say anything here at all. I want to hear what everybody else says.
Okay, well, for the sake of moving the process along, I was so satisfied with the goals that we had last year that I think that if we remain and kept the same, that would apply and that wouldn't be obviated by the new guidelines. Just maintain those and keep our course, which seems to be a very viable course.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Blaze.
I'm trying to find where Glenn had listed some goals, and I can't find it now on my page.
It's at the very
It's the-
end of the
last
document,
page.
the last page. You'll see FY 24-25
Ah.
objectives.
So all the ones that that can remain, I think those are very good goals.
So would it be helpful then if we went ahead and sort of redrafted these to be a more present time?
Yes.
And we can send those out to this committee. Did you like how I phrased that? Yeah. We can send that out to the committee and Adriana will receive your feedback based off of that and sort of send those out so we can, is that a good starting off point that we can help with?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a question I have, Commissioner Blaze.
I have already made a few changes that I thought would work, and so I can send them to Glenn or to Adriana, and they can send those out if that makes sense, or we can talk about it now.
Let's talk about them now. Yeah.
Okay. So for the beginning where equity is red, which it should be, unfortunately, I just said keep impartiality at the forefront.
I
And
think the word we would use access probably.
that will be fine. Keep access at the forefront. That's good. And I think we can just ditch the racial equity plan and just say guided by the Dallas Cultural Plan. Does that make sense? Because
Well,
it's
I
all
think there's,
included.
and I think that's fantastic. Oh, I'm sorry, may I?
Yeah.
Chair?
Yeah.
So,
Commissioner Small. Yes.
But I think there may be some elements in the Dallas Cultural Plan that may obviate that plan as well. So I think,
That's a
just,
lawyer talking, I can tell.
well, but I do. I think,
Okay.
Well, and if I may, I think it might present us with the opportunity to be more specific, right? What is it that we want to continue to keep access for? Space, a variety of programming in a variety of disciplines, in a variety of council districts, right? We can, things like that, right? Advocating for, non-traditional space, things like that, right? So this giving the opportunity to provide more specificity behind it, so that goal is clear and not ambiguous.
Great. I also thought we could say to work on facility accessibility for smaller organizations or those with smaller budgets or something like that. and just drop the Atlanta organizations.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, most of the Atlanta organizations are smaller ones and they fit right in there.
True.
Without
That's true.
saying that, you know, so that's basically what I had thought about.
How
But
do
I
we
think
feel
that-
about length,
About
length
what?
of goals? How, I mean, how many goals? We talked about shortening the number of goals. Seems like a
The
lot
length
of
of goals.
goals. Maybe to even 5 goals. Is that a doable thing here?
Don't know yet. Have to look at everything and then decide if we can combine some or ditch some.
Well, my suggestion would be everybody look at these goals, see if we can edit these and then eliminate or maybe fold them into together down to 5 goals and then share and discuss. What are you thinking, Commissioner Small?
I totally support that.
Okay, yeah.
I totally support that.
And then maybe after we can flesh that out, we can share it with the chairs.
Mhm.
And they can review as well, but make sure we touch all the points that the chairs want to have. So I think that's more of a, if you're looking at goals at this level, I don't think we should have more than 6 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we certainly don't need to have a list where like every one of the commissioners has a goal.
Right.
You know,
If that's the case, then that is the end of the review of the document as a whole. I think I have some really great notes for Adriana and I to move forward, to provide a more substantive and complete, maybe less some data, but as far as content goes, to bring us forward for the next, and to now work with you to communicate those 5 goals as we work to send those out to full commission for their review in preparation of October's commission meeting, as we have scheduled. So,
Well, so I guess the new business, but not really new business, or other briefing would be our next meeting is October the 8th.
well, so yeah, it's
Is there anything else?
next briefing is if your update, if you have any update.
No updates.
No update.
No updates,
All right.
other than the next meeting,
Which is,
October 8th.
yes,
And then
Okay.
you've got staff updates, Lynn.
I
Secretary.
do. I had just a couple. So recognizing that we're trying to shore up our communication to make sure that things are getting out, and also like the change from like Emmanuel Castellano's email address to Adriana Portillo's email address to whoever else's email address. So Adriana came up with the plan to create a centralized, what are we, OAC commission at dallas.gov. So that's what you'll be able to like, oh, there it is. There's something. And so that'll be for everyone, not just for the committee.
Okay.
But so we're working on to help streamline that. It'll help with continuity on our end too, for just the position and the communication coming from that area. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that we'll be working towards that to help streamline that process.
That's genius.
And that'll be
Well-
nice too, because then we can set up our calendar through there and send everything. So again, we don't lose things as personnel might change or anything like that.
So,
Fabulous.
so I have a question. You're talking about updating everybody with the dallas.gov email address. There
So
are
no-
several. Hmm?
No, that's not.
correct?
what
No,
this-
that's not, no,
no,
that's
we're
not.
saying It's the opposite.
not gonna-
They're
Okay.
coming up with their own common email address for us to use.
Great. Perfect.
It's a group email. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Oh,
a group
good.
email. It's a group email, and I just wanted to update about the commissioner emails. I did speak with Shawnee, who's the manager and board for boards and commissions, and she did say that she in IT found a process to have the commissioner emails work, and that she's going to start looking at what that process would look like October 1st. Once she wanted to give time for the new council members to appoint their commissioners. So I'll be trying to see what that process looks like for emails, because I've heard from lots of people that they have issues accessing their city emails, and hopefully I can help create a process to make that a little bit easier for you. But that'll be in around October 1st.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, the OAC commission email will be just for Adriana's general communications. Every email you receive from OAC will come from that email.
Right.
And so you don't have to also, oh, did I, email Adriana specifically about this? Nope, OAC commission, boop, and that
Right.
you can send it right there.
Sort of just like our neighborhood association. That's good. We do the
Exactly.
same. Yeah, I got it.
And that's it for me on staff updates.
Any other business comments? And everybody can see the upcoming meetings and events.
Yeah, let me quickly take a screenshot of that.
Mm.
I have a question. We have confirmed the 25th though, right, for allocations? Is that,
I believe that will be part of our discussion. I'm highly confident it is confirmed, but we left it as tentative, just,
oh, okay.
because it's not part of the regularly scheduled meetings.
Mhm.
It's possible that quorum would not be able to be made. I doubt it again, but because it's not part of that, first Thursday of the month kind of meeting.
Is the allocations committee going to meet tomorrow?
Yes, they do meet tomorrow to begin discussions on COP allocations.
Yes.
Yes,
To begin discussions or to wrap up?
to begin scenario discussions
Oh,
on
okay.
COP, I should say. No, not to wrap up.
Okay.
I wish. Yes, the 25th.
Yes. Yes. Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, well, with no further business, I call this meeting to a close at 5:15 PM.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Adriana, I just want you to know how much we appreciate you being here, and you and Glenn are awesome.
Yes.
You do not know how many years I've been waiting for this.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
I'll give you a history.